Hey, what's up, guys? So, I've been an Android user for many years now. I've had past experiences with the iPhones, but they never convinced me to switch over to them until now. This is the new iPhone 14 Pro, and this is going to be my main device from now. As you guys already know that iPhone lineup has been out for a while now, and only the Pro models get all the bells and whistles like the dynamic island, always on display, A16 Bionic chip, a new set of cameras. In this video, I'll be going over all the new features and my first impressions of using this 14 Pro.
Let's start with the build quality, which is great as we expect from Pro iPhones. There is frosted matte glass on the back with glossy glass on the camera square. The camera square is definitely bigger and beefier than the 13 Pro, as we now have a new 48 megapixel camera, which I'll talk later in the video. The stainless steel side rails are deep dark in this space black color, which is my absolute favorite, and the darkness of this black color changes in different lighting. There is still a lightning port at the bottom, and all the buttons are clicky and in the same position as before.
Overall, the phone feels rock solid. It's quite heavy, but I still love the design.
Then there's the updated 6.1-inch OLED display, which has a peak brightness of 2000 nits outdoors, which is very much noticeable, and 1600 nits max brightness in HDR, which is higher than before. Also, this display has slightly thinner bezels than the 13 Pro and is slightly higher resolution.
But the most distinguishable changes this year are the dynamic island and the always on display. So the always on display isn't a new feature. It has been on hundreds of phones before for many years. Even I was using on my Pixel 2 XL, and it's a very useful feature that is now finally available on iPhones.
So here's how it works. When you put your phone down to sleep with the power button, or when it automatically locks, the brightness drops and the display goes all the way down to 1 Hz. You get to see the clock and the notifications, though it is a very bright always on display, and it even shows the faded colored lock screen wallpaper behind it. Now let's talk about this dynamic island. So this is basically a pill-shaped cutout housing the front-facing camera and the Face ID sensors. Not just that, it interacts with the UI to indicate the ongoing activities and background activities for stuff like music playing, maps, timers or phone calls in the background. And it has this nice little animation to extend and shrink and move around the cutout. So then you can tap on the icon to open the app, or you can actually long press to take action for what's happening, which makes it a mini notification widget with shortcut controls for whatever app you are using. And when you close the app, the dynamic island becomes a status bar, so you have the album art and the color matching waveform up there while the media is playing.
All this works really well. The animations are very fluid and responsive. I think it is a no-brainer that Dynamic Island is the most hyped feature of iPhone 14 Pro. Personally, I never liked the notch on older iPhones, and I think Apple implemented this very well, as they have taken a boring cutout to an intuitive and useful approach.
Okay, so the camera system on iPhone 14 Pro is all new, and it's got a noticeably bigger camera bump on the back of the phone. It's the first time in a very long run that we are getting a megapixel bump from 12 megapixels to 48 megapixels of the main camera sensor.
It is a physically larger sensor than the 13 Pro, which means you can capture more detail in the shots, better low light sensitivity, and more depth of field.
But it is still binning down to 12 megapixels for normal shots. To get the full 48 megapixels, you have to go in the camera settings and enable Pro RAW, and then choose Pro RAW resolution. Then they also added a new 2x button in the camera UI, so you can now zoom in by hitting the 2x button with optical quality, as it is cropping in the middle 12 megapixels from the sensor. Then the other two lenses, the ultra wide and the telephoto, are both 12 megapixel cameras with f2.2 and f2.8 aperture respectively. I will be testing out the cameras more in my full review, but here are some of the recent shots that I took. And all the shots have great amount of detail. The colors are well saturated, the images are sharp, there is a great degree of consistency between all the lenses, which lacks in other phones. Usually the ultra-wide camera and the telephoto on other phones are not good, but on this 14 Pro it is very good, and I am super impressed with the photos. The selfie camera also got an update. It is a 12 megapixel sensor
with f1.9 aperture with autofocus for both photo and video. Currently I'm recording in 4K and you are hearing the audio quality as well. Let me know in the comments how is the video quality. If you guys want to see more sample photos of this iPhone 14 Pro, you can follow me on Instagram. I will be posting more photos over there.
And lastly, we have also got a new chip, the A16 Bionic. So the performance is amazing with no hiccups at all. What I like most on this 14 Pro is all the fluid animations, the app opening and closing, and everything feels on point. Combined with the iOS 16.3, it's just a very smooth experience to use it.
For the battery life, I haven't tested it fully, but so far it has been reliable all day battery life. I wished it had USB Type-C for charging, but it is still a lightning port. So that's pretty much it for this video. iPhone 14 Pro is a very interesting phone. Also, as for someone who is coming from an Android world, I'm very excited to test it even more. I'll be using this phone over the next couple of weeks or month so that I can give you my full review of this device. Anyways, let me know what do you guys think of this new iPhone 14 Pro in the comments below. Make sure to hit the like button if you guys enjoyed watching and also smash the subscribe button for more. I'll see you in the next one.